Alright, so let me close this one so we can not have such big glare because this bright glowing orb is in the sky finally. Yeah. There, is that a little bit better? We might turn a few lights off too. Okay, so good warm-up problem for you. Give this one a try. Graph that bad boy. Okay, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come? All 4 days? You don't sound so enthused about that.
I don't know. I don't really know any of the other teachers.
Yeah, right. All right. So, before we even start this one, we should go y equals -3 sine of pi times x plus 1. Correct? Yes? Okay. So, domain. Knock the easy one out. Domain is all real numbers. Amplitude. Amplitude. 3. Middle.
0,
High.
3,
Low.
-3,
Range.
3,
No, -3, comma 3.
Gosh, you guys are screwed up that one time.
Okay. Good so far.
Yes.
Okay. Start. Where does this one start?
-1, comma
Starts at -1. Period.
2.
2, right?
Yeah.
Because the period is 2 pi divided by b. So that's going to be 2 pi divided by pi, which is 2. So the period is 2. Yes, ma'am.
Why does it start -1?
Because it's plus 1. We always think oppositely inside a set of parentheses.
Okay.
So that puts my ending at,
1.
ends at 1. Okay. Sine curve. Starts middle, low, or high. Middle. This particular sine curve goes up or down from the middle. Down, because it's got a -a value, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, again, if you are the type of person that finds the 5 horizontal points first, that's fine, then fills in your curve. Or if you're the type of person that fills in your curve first and then adjusts everything else after that, that's fine also. Okay. So I know that this is -1. I know that that is +1, which then that allows me to put this right there in the middle, because the middle is at 0. Halfway point then would be negative 1/2. Halfway point then would be positive 1/2. Yes? Vertically, it goes down to -3, we said, and up to +3. Questions, comments, concerns, onomatopoeias? Good? Okay. So, today then, we're going to do the fourth one, which is our D value. So our D value is it moves the middle. Okay? So it moves the middle. Up, down, depending on D. It's not in a set of parentheses, so it's straight up. Okay? It moves it how it needs to move. Okay? So that the D value combined with the A value then sets the low and the high of my function, which sets the range, which is all that fun stuff. Okay? So now, with that being said, with this D value being in play, now when we go to graph, if you'll notice on the goldenrod sheet that I gave you today, or that you picked up when you walked in, we don't have the lines on there anymore, okay? Because that line is the 0 line, obviously, or the x-axis, if you will. And so that's not in play until we set it. So now we have to set the vertical and the horizontal after we get going. Okay? One other thing, you might see these functions, so like this function, cosine of x plus 10, or you might also see it as 10 plus cosine of x. That D value can either come at the very end of the problem, or it can come at the very beginning of the problem. Okay? So it doesn't matter where it is, as long as it's not in this set of parentheses that comes after our trig function. Okay? So, with that being said, domain of this function, all reals. Okay? Amplitude of this function, 1. The middle is now at D. What's my D value? 10. So my middle is now at 10, which means the high value is 11. The low value is 9. So my range goes from 9 to 11. Good to go with that? Where does this one start? Starts at 0. What is this one's period? So where does this one end? So this one would actually look very similar to this. And then, so this is a cosine. Cosine start low, middle, or high. High, then goes down. This one goes down then. So then this would be 9, 10, and 11. there. This would be 0 pi and 2 pi.
We have to label 4 things on the bottom.
5. Yep. 5 on the horizontal, 3 on the vertical. Yep. Questions, comments, concerns, clarifications? Yes, ma'am. Domain will always be all real numbers if it's sine and cosine. The other ones, no. But for these two, yes. Good. Let's try one on your own. Try that one. Give me a nice pretty graph of y equals negative 2 plus 4 cosine of 1/2 x. Domain.
All real numbers.
All real numbers. Amplitude. 4. Somebody from the back. Middle. What do you got? Negative 2. Somebody from the middle. High. 2. Low. So that gives me a range from negative 6 to positive 2.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yes?
A little different.
Yes.
Okay. Start.
Shape's probably a little different.
0.
Yes.
Period. 4 pi. Because 2 pi divided by 1/2 is 2 pi times 2 over 1, which is 4 pi, which means it ends at 4 pi. Come on now, move, I say. Alright, so then we've got a cosine curve. Cosine starts high, middle, or low. High. Okay. Or this particular one starts on high. Okay. So high and low. Middle high. Okay. Started at 0, ended at 4 pi. We had a vertically, we were at 2, and down here at negative 6, we put our middle here at negative 2, which puts my 0 right there. Zero. We're going out to 4 pi, so that's pi, 2 pi, 3 pi, 4 pi. Good? I think that's it. Oh, nope, one more. Oh, man. One more.
That should be one of everything.
Yeah, I told you.
Yep.
Love it.
I love it, he says. Love it.
I love this one. Excited to be part of it.
Oh, I'm so glad. At least it's separated for us already.
Got that going for you.
That's a dub.
Domain, that's the easy one. Amplitude, 12. Middle,
1,
high,
13,
low.
-11.
So that gives me a range from -11 to +13. Start,
-2,
period,
2,
end,
killed it.
Damn, that's how
Yeah.
it looks.
sign, middle, low, or high.
Middle.
Middle. This particular sign goes up or goes down.
Oh,
Up, because the negative's not attached to the sign, right?
This particular sign, up or down.
Up.
This particular sign goes down
Why?
because it's got a negative b value.
I thought it was based on the amplitude.
Nope. The identity. Notice over here, if b is less than 0, check identities per possible reflection. The reflection is if the sign of negative
that's right.
t is equal to negative sine of t. Negative b values reflect sines. They don't reflect cosines.
So, if my a value is negative, it also flips it?
Mhm.
Okay. But in cosine.
So if you had a negative, so in sine, if you had a negative a value and a negative b value, it wouldn't change anything because it would reflect and then reflect back again.
Okay.
Okay? But if you had a negative a value and a negative b value in cosine, it would reflect
Uh-huh.
because the negative b value doesn't do anything to cosine.
Alright.
Okay? Alright? So this sine curve starts in the middle, goes low, high, ends back somewhere in the middle. Okay? We can move this to there. Extend it down just a little bit more. Okay? We can move this. It's very close to the middle, but it's actually one lower than the middle. It's actually one lower than where the middle is. So then my middle, my high here is 13. My middle here is at 1. My low here is at -11. Started at -2. Ended at 0. 1. Actually, this one should be over just a wee bit. Questions, comments, concerns, clarifications? Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Because it's over that.
Yeah, because it's absolute value. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Sine is a negative
Well, it depends on what. Like, if it's a negative on the d value, then no. Or a negative on the c value, then no.
if it's both, it reflects still too.
What do you mean? If it's negative a and negative b, then it doesn't change anything because they cancel each other out.
Okay, but for cosine, if the b value is negative
Doesn't do anything.
and still doesn't do anything.
For b,
But if b and a were negative, then it would.
then it would reflect because the a would reflect it, but the b, the negative b, wouldn't reflect it back. Okay. Rest of the time now is yours for gold and pink. Okay. Gold is for this week Friday. Pink is for next week Wednesday.
So we turn in it. So tears that part of the
don't want it. I do it for you.
All done.
Yeah.